Well, welcome to Man Live. We're here in the Man studios. I am Terrence Turner, the Data Quality Manager.
I'm Trevor Dang, Intervention Specialist, Man Bennettsville.
Daniel Blathers, Intervention Specialist, Man Florence.
And Anthony Green, Man Fatherhood, Darlington.
Awesome. We have a dynamic show today. And we are excited today. You want to give yourself a round of applause because you made it to week 5. So since you made it to week 5, you can be considered complete. So make sure you reach out to your intervention specialist and let them know, listen, I made it to week 5. So now you can get your course completion certificate. So make sure you tag, reach out to them. Also share this video as well. You want to like, tag, and share because we got some dynamic content we're talking about today. And week 5, we're going to talk about co-parenting. Right, co-parenting. So guys, we have some experts on the panel today. We're going to talk about co-parenting. I'm going to make this statement. It says, when the elephants fight, it's the ground that suffers. When the elephants fight, it's the ground that suffers. Trevor, what do you think about that statement?
I think that statement is very, very evaluative based on the fact that it's an aftermath when our parents or when parents get into altercations or when they get into disagreements. That's when we notice that the impact is not on the parents themselves, not just on them, on the parents themselves, but the kids get to feel the weight of this altercation between the father and the mother. So I guess that statement it nails it all as far as parenting is concerned. When both parents are in a situation, the kids are the people who suffer the most. I guess that statement makes it right.
Okay.
And it's very present in our society.
Very present in our society. Okay.
Yeah.
Daniel, let's shift it to you, man.
Yeah. One thing about it is, when parents go at it, a lot of times, even if the kids are not in the room, sometimes, that voiceover, them hearing the arguments, and in the future they think that's the solution on how to solve things, which is clearly not. But if you grew up in an environment where it's constant arguing or fighting or whatever, kids tend to use it as a solution. Even in when they're at school, they figure, hey, this, if I start an argument, and especially with the opposite sex, this is how it's supposed to be handled.
That's good. Great insight. Mr. Green.
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts about that statement? When the elephants fight, it's the ground that suffers.
I think it's a great phrase that actually captures many situations that parents do not recollect, understand, or even at times respect parents. That, the old saying is, words can sometimes hurt like a fist. I think the argument between two parents, which symbolizes the elephant, and the overhearing of the argument and having to be impacted by that argument, or what, no matter what level it is, the children actually symbolize the ground. So conversely, anytime the parents are at odds with one another, it affects the children, because again, the children are looking at the parents as their superheroes, their caretakers. And how is it that a child seems to say, okay, my dad doesn't like my mother, or my mother doesn't like my dad. I'm hurt by that. So actually, it's, like I said again, it's a profound statement, man.
Wow. I just want to chime in on something Daniel said about those words. I remember growing up, we used to have this saying growing up, we said, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me.
Right.
That is a lot, right? Because words warm, words give affirmation, words provide direction. So we have to be careful about the words that we're speaking, even when, like Daniel said, the children are in the other room. Are they hearing us argue? Are they hearing us say positive things to uplift and build one another? Are they hearing that dysfunction? So I think we have to be very mindful of the conversation that we have with that other parent as well, and be vigilant in, saying things that's going to uplift, that's going to undergird, that's going to really bring the best out in that person. What do you guys think about that?
Absolutely.
For me, it's mostly a lot of times we have to be careful about just how we speak about the other parent to our kids, because what we're doing is forming, if it's positive, it's great, but
Hmm.
especially when it's negative, you're teaching that child how to view not only the other parent but other people. When there's a distrust mentally, your physical actions doesn't matter
Mm.
because you tend to either stay away from that person, you change your attitude changes towards that other person. Um, and kids sometimes take their views of their parent from the other parent. If dad is always down talking mom, sometimes even as boys, we may grow up to down talk women and vice versa the other way around. But if I see dad treat my mom in a positive light, I learned to have respect for women. So we have to be cautious about the attitudes, the words, and the way we do things in front of our kids.
Very good. Any other thoughts, Trevor?
Yeah, there is a saying in Africa where we always talk about they always say bad habits or bad things or bad news to spread like wildfire,
Hmm.
and we very much understand that when these kids are growing up, I bet you they copy a lot the bad things. They would get the bad things that we do easily
Yeah.
than the good things that
Right.
we do,
Yeah.
and uh, being good or teaching them those good things would necessarily not be like you have to um, you have to do it just for a day. Because I tell you what, we always talk about children learning a lot from our examples. They watch a lot, even at their very tender ages. They watch a lot. So, be it the negative things that you say, or the physical altercations that you have with your significant other, or the other parent, he has to be censored. He has to be censored. He has to take a pattern that when they look at what you're doing, or they look at what, or they listen to what you're saying, it should be something that they should copy, and it has to be like copying it every day. There shouldn't be a holiday for all of those things. The good things, you shouldn't take a rest, or you shouldn't sit back and say, okay, we've been doing it the right way this time around. I need to relax a little bit and just go bum 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 and maybe go negative, because they're gonna copy those negative things real fast and real good too. So yeah, always make sure you go for the right ones, like Daniel said about the listening and just picking it real quick. So,
Very good. Very good. Anthony, did you have anything you want to add to that?
Um, really, I like what both Daniel and Trevor said. I kind of go to the idea, Terrence, of you know parents in co-parenting. The idea of there, it seems like there was a relationship that started at the beginning
Yep.
in which in which children came from that happy, healthy relationship at the beginning. And then somewhere through the course of time afterwards, that relationship, in whatever reasons and why, happened to lose its flavor. Kind of like you know, Bubblicious. It's got all kinds of flavor and it draws attention to itself. And oh my goodness, it's the most wonderful thing and it's so tasty and loving to you. But as soon as the flavor is gone, it goes from just from hubba bubba to just gum in your mouth.
Mm.
I I I think the parents, they lose sight, depending on what happened or however the course was, they lose sight on the idea of, even though our physical, relationship is over with, our second relationship that we must maintain is the fact that we must together raise this child to be happy and healthy and so forth. So now we have to understand that you know, we're co-parents, and we need to both be on the same team. Forget about the feelings of what took place before, because there's a child that's involved, and the child is looking up to both individuals because it's learning from both individuals, both mother and father, every day. So forget get away from the idea of the competitiveness or the angry and so forth, to let that go. See things from a different side, think about things from a different side, because you know it there's that second relationship, to understand that we're no longer boyfriend or girlfriend, we're no longer husband and wife, but we are still parents. That second relationship is still there.
That's very good, man. Very good insight. And just want to bring the listeners in as well, because I mean now we're in football season, right? And
Oh my.
we talked about before we came on here today. Trevor made a statement: teamwork makes the dream work, right? And then we attribute that to John Maxwell, right? Teamwork makes the dream work. But when you're on a team, you guys have a goal to win, right? So now that we're on the team for male and female, your significant other, you may not be together, but your goal should be this. Your goal, your co-parenting goal should be, your main goal needs to be to raise happy, confident, secure, and healthy children. That should be the goal. Happy, confident, secure, and healthy children. So regardless if you guys are not romantically together,
Right.
you are parentally together. Right? So now, what is my goal? That goal should be the child, like Anthony was saying, and then that teamwork aspect of it. If you're on a team with somebody, you guys got to have the same goal. You got to have the same vision. You got to have the same aim and chief. You can't be on the team with somebody and y'all have two different goals, right? Now you're on offense and you trying to be on defense, or what I'm saying, we're not running the same play.
Right.
There's no way that you can win. So there's no way you can win in parenting if you and your significant other are not on the same page. You're not using the same playbook. You don't have the same goals for that child.
Exactly.
So I just want to bring you guys in there about the teamwork aspect and the goal aspect of co-parenting.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
you can go on, brother Daniel. Just go on.
Terrence, Terrence, I love what you said, and the parents should also know that there is going to come that day, if there is not a good co-parenting team effort going. The parents need to understand there's going to be that day where the child or children involved are going to one day question either parent, what is it about my mother or father that you do not like?
Mm.
If they're overhearing these things, and we get back to the line, of course, again, when the elephants fight, it's the ground that suffers. Our children are learning every day from us, from our actions, from our words, from our deeds, from our duties, and they're reciprocating what they see, because we are their superheroes, we are their role models, we are their mother and father figures. There's going to be that one day that they're going to ask us, and how would you like to be the mother or the father? And your child stops and stands in front of you and asks, what is it about my mother that you can't stand? What is it about my father that you don't like? Imagine your child is standing there asking you that, face full of tears. That's why the teamwork is so important, because again, the child or children, they're learning every day, and that day is going to come. I would rather for it to be that the child is happy. What do you say, Daniel?
Well, my philosophy is every child is like a business, and both parents are 50% owners. And it's always whatever you invest into it from your side is what you're going to get out of it. But if we invest, if our child is $1 million investment, and the mom puts up her 500,000 and I only put in 250, well, we're never going to be able to get to that $1 million goal, because I'm not investing my fair share into this child. But if we're both putting in equal, we're consulting on what to do, making decisions along the way, what's in the best interest for our child, what schools we want them to go in, educational goals, discipline. We have to sit down and talk about all these things that we're going to pour into this child to make them successful, to make them a productive citizens, to lead them to a direction that they should go in. And like you say, once they get older, you know, they won't stray away from it. T, I think that's what Proverbs 22:6, something like that.
Come on, son.
Come on, man. That's for sure. That's good. Awesome, Alan. As a man,
All right,
thinking so he is. Yes, sir. Come on.
yeah. Just to add to the whole idea about teamwork. Like you said, teamwork. When we're talking about teamwork, when it comes to co-parenting, the very first thing is both parents need to understand what brought them together. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you might not have your differences. I guess Brother Anthony said. He said it's like when you started chewing the gum,
Yeah.
everything was sweet.
Yeah.
But because it had to lose, there was a loss in its stage. Maybe that's what took you guys away, which means that was what made you guys different. And when you come within the context of co-parenting, you should understand, like, away from our differences, away from my difference or from my differences, there is something that brings us together. Because your understanding of what brings you together would definitely also play on your commitment towards that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you don't understand the value of what brings you together, then that's where you might bring in a 1 million goal, like my brother Danny said. You want to come in with a 250. If it's a 1 million goal and say the other parent brings in a 500, then it's definitely your understanding of what exactly are we talking about. What is the value of what we are talking about? And this value is not measured by the current situation. It's not measured by the differences you people have. It would be evaluated based on what it becomes in the near future. And so we are talking about these kids. These kids, like we talk about the elephant and the grass. They're like the grass, and we need to nurture them. We need to nurture them. It has to be an equal effort. We need to understand that these kids, like we say in Africa, they didn't write an application for them to be born.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They didn't write an application. I guess it was because you guys felt that you had to exercise your love by procreating, or maybe bringing forth a souvenir to your love. And definitely, if you bring it forth, then it's your task and it's your duty to make sure that you protect what you guys brought forth together. So we need to understand that, and we need to know that if you have a difference, you shouldn't take your difference in the whole aspect of teamwork, and you want to over highlight your difference. Understand that it's no longer about you. It's no longer about your significant other. It's about this chart. Chart is what glues you guys, brings the teamwork together. So forget about your ego, like we always say. Forget about whatever difference and just put your heads together and make the best of what you people can make out of your differences.
Wow, very good. You brought up the term value. One of my mentors says this: if you don't understand a value of a thing, either abuse or misuse is ineligible. So if you don't understand the value of a thing, either you're going to abuse it or you're going to misuse it. So we don't think of our children as being valuable enough to put in that full investment. We are abusing or misusing our children. Man, that's a sobering thought. What do you guys think about that?
Good.
So T, let me even add this to it. What
Yes, sir.
about how we think about the value of the other parent?
Oh, that's good
Good.
too. Yes, sir. Come on, talk about it.
You know, because a lot of times yeah, we're looking at what's best for our children, but we have to realize that the other parent is just as valuable
Mm-hmm.
in the process of them growing up. You know, I know a lot of times in our society right now, we do have a lot of single mothers, or the father's not in the home. And some people could say, well, I can do it by myself. And although financially or providing, yes, you can, but you can't provide the values from the other side or the opinion or the example of what a man is to be, or however, or vice versa. You know, I have daughters. I can't speak on a woman's behalf of
Right.
what it's like to be a woman, the values of a woman, things you should know as a woman. I can only tell you from a man's side of the story. But I know that my daughter's mother is a valuable asset to her because she needs to learn from her. She needs, and also it's my job to make sure both of them are okay. Not just saying, hey, I'm gonna just worry about my child, because I know for a fact that if her mom is struggling, more than likely something's going wrong for my child. So I have value in both of them just the same.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful. It has to be that way. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that point out because, like, we're talking about parenting and co-parenting, right? So I think what we have to do is learn how to think about that other parent in a
Mm.
way that's, that's going to put a positive light on that situation. Okay, like
Right.
you guys were saying, you thought enough of them to have a child with them.
Hmm.
What is it now that, okay, we got the child, so now I devalue you, or I don't think, you are good enough now to be a good parent, right? So what we have to do now, we got to think differently, like you were saying, showing value, showing appreciation, showing respect, showing honor to that other parent as well, whether you guys are together or not, for the sake of raising those positive children and co-parenting in a healthy and successful way.
Hmm.
Good.
I guess it's also important for us to highlight that you can co-parent without challenges.
Hmm.
Having because there's a lot that's gonna change. The initial idea was for you guys to be parents for this child, but because something went wrong along the line,
Hmm.
a new word, a prefix had to be added to the whole idea of parenting,
Yeah.
co-parenting,
Right.
which means you might be doing it from separate angles. And if you're doing it from separate angles, there's a lot that is going to come in as a challenge. Maybe in the not in the frequency in communication, maybe in the frequency in visitation. And like Daniel said, there is a word that has to step in respect. There is you have to show equal respect in order to attain the goal of co-parenting these children or this child. Because I guess sometimes you might I I'm a man. I may feel like okay sometimes like we always say men get jealous sometimes and
Oh, do we really do
a lot. I don't know about you, but from my own point of view, I
Hey.
might get jealous a lot.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
You might want to feel like, okay, what you guys shared in the past, right?
Right.
It might still be the same thing when you're co-parenting, right? Okay, or say you have a visitation, it's a weekend and you have to stop over to pick up your maybe your son to spend the weekend or your daughter to spend the weekend with. And maybe you might go to pick her up from the mom's place and
Hmm.
you might notice somebody different or you might notice that she had moved on and she's in
Hmm.
maybe in a new relationship. You might feel a little jealous, that, and it might play a lot on your psychology.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very important for us to understand that what you shared in the past, it's no longer there. Like
Hmm.
it's not the same thing that you guys share right now.
Right.
Now it's strictly business.
Yeah.
It's about discharge, right? And so you need to respect each other. You need to develop that kind of a mindset that would adapt to the situation. If you were real jealous and so jealous, then it's high time you start pulling yourself out of that thing and just present yourself with what is current. The current situation right now is she has moved on,
Hmm.
you have moved on, and the target is the child. So you need to respect not only uh, the way you interact with her, you need to respect us. You need to respect her now with the new relationship thing and how you have to carry on with the co-parenting task.
That's really good.
Yeah,
That's really
so
good. That's good. And you brought out some things about men being jealous and things of that nature. So, gentlemen, how do we take the emotion, the feelings out of that to really look at the child as a business? Because I was laughing because you brought it up because that actually happened to me years ago. I went actually that exact situation happened to me as I was bringing my son back to drop him off, and his mother, her friend at the time, he was there, and I didn't anticipate him being there. Now I'm not a jealous guy at all, but just something just rose up in me, like, man, okay, she's moved on. So how do we as men, reel in those emotions so we can be effective co-parents if that other party has moved on?
I
Well,
think, Terrence, first thing is that we need to individually, we need to make that mental shift in the way that we think about that other person. Because, I go back to the cliche about the gum again. No gum is going to have flavor forever.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is that, and there's a song that the line in the song that says the thrill is gone. When with those situations happen the way that they do, and once we actually see both visually and physically, we see that the situations have changed. Okay, that part of the actual relationship life has ceased. However, the idea of, once again, the children come into play. Now, there's the mental aspect to say, what do I think about this person as being in the relationship with them? And what do I think about this person as the type of parent that I'm co-parenting with? Once it's realized we're parents, do I have in my mind that this person can be a good mother? Not anymore about the fact can she be a good girlfriend or per se good wife or however, but can this woman be a good mother? Or vice versa, the female looking at the father, can this guy be a good father? Can he be a good dad? Not that he's a good boyfriend or good husband anymore, but the idea of, can they be those? Change the mental aspect of how because during the relationship, you're looking at them as one way, individual I'm involved with the relationship with. Once children are involved, now you also have to look at them to see what are their abilities to be a good father or good mother. And I strike back to the idea again with Trevor mentioned about the communication. Communication is essential. You cannot be good parent, happy, healthy parent, without good communication. And then at the same time, there's the language, verbal, that comes across. Be very respectful of one another, especially in the presence of the child. Because if not, you're going to hear it, you're going to see it again. You don't even have to hear it. You can see it in your child's face. If you're in the presence of the child and you're voicing off your opinion about the other parent, away from the parent, but you're saying it where the child can hear it, or even if you're, by God, I hope not, saying it to the child, that's going to carry back over when the child is now back in the presence of the other parent. We as fathers, we say, and we respect the ideas that when we're talking to our children, respectfully talk to the child or children about the other parent. Don't go there and say negative things and so forth, because again, that is putting the children in between co-parents. So we got to change, again, the mental shift on how we think about this person, and also to keep the communication essentially respectful, and to always, if you say something and you set up an agreement, stick to it. That is all I feel that's in the categories of being a good team-oriented co-parenting unit. So Daniel.
Well, I want to take a step back to something you just said, and about how we view the other person being a good parent. Well, we need to figure that out before the child gets here.
Thank you. while the gum is juicy. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to find out, consider those things while you're dating or while your relationship is going on. Trying to figure
Absolutely.
out if this person is a good dad or mother after the child is conceived is not the time to figure that out.
Mm.
Um, you know, we really have to, go back to the point Terrence made earlier is okay, you can't group everything together, so to speak. You can't group boyfriend and dad together or mom and girlfriend or wife together. Those are two separate jobs. And a lot of times it's grouped together. If he don't love me, he don't love us, or vice versa. No, his love for his child is always going to be totally different than his love for you. I love you as my mate, not as my child. So I'm not going to treat both of you like my child. So we have to be able to separate the titles first and foremost. Then we can move on to the roles.
I like that. That's good. That's good. Very good. Very good. Good insight, gentlemen, from both of you guys, man. That's some powerful stuff. So make sure you guys, you're watching, taking notes. Make sure you take some notes and share this thing out. We have one question for the panel, and it says, "How can I co-parent when the other parent is not interested in cooperating? How can I co-parent when the other parent is not interested in co-parenting?"
Um, well, I just say this: if it's not working in a way that y'all can mutually agree, then of course you just have to go through the court system, and petition for visitation, um, and take that route because it's good to try to have a civilized conversation, work out an agreement. But if that person is not doing what they're supposed to do or not cooperating, then you have to take by any means necessary for you to get that achieved.
Very good. Sure.
Yeah, just to add to that, I guess if you try it, you can also source I guess there are a lot of establishment or organizations where you can get a little mutual first. Maybe seek for a good faith kind of communication.
Mhm.
Yeah, you could maybe get help from any other the service that we provide. Sometimes we may go out of our way to just get to talk to you people. And
Mediation.
yeah, if you if maybe we can't get you guys together, then I think you just go straight to where order has to be made. Yeah, I would advise like always try to seek consent of those who can give you a very good advice before you get to the court. Because when you get to the court, that's it. That's it. So it's very important to always try to seek concern and seek advice from those who can help you with your situation before you get to the court. Uh, I know it's kind of different over here, but within our African setting, when it comes to relationship issues, where people are a little bit religious, they always want to maybe even seek concern from the preachers or the pastors, try to sort advice. And if they can't do it at that level and they can't do it at their individual levels, then they go straight to the court. Yeah. So try to seek help. If you can get help from those people at your disposal, then you can just go straight to where other will be.
Anthony, your thoughts?
Well, Terrence, my brother, I think at the same time, I like what Daniel and Trevor said. Kind of add to it as well. I think that um, the individual needs to stay, definitely needs to stay consistent in their efforts to want to co-parent. Um, and we've seen situations where the children have been put in between parents, and we've seen situations where parents have voiced said that they did not want the father to see the children because they didn't like the way that the father they didn't like his parenting skills, if you will, so to speak. And we've seen it vice versa on both sides. That we've seen where the father said he doesn't like the fact that trying to co-parent with the mother because of who the mother associates with, and he didn't want his children around that type of atmosphere. So then we have situations where the parenting styles clash.
Well,
I think
Anthony, can I ask you this?
go.
Doesn't that go back to knowing them before the child gets here?
Absolutely. Listen, understand that hubba bubba gum before you start chewing it.
Before you buy it, right?
Before
Hey,
you
read
buy
the
it,
label.
read
Read
the
the
label.
label.
Read the label, but as you start chewing and you enjoying the flavor, understand that this is gum. I mean, this has flavor. Many times over again, that children are caught in the middle, and at the same time, I say to the question coming in, stay consistent. They may not want to actually co-parent and may not agree or meet any kind of conditions or anything and so forth, but stay consistent with it. As Daniel said, if you cannot actually get it set up by speaking or communicating by phone, in person whatsoever, then actually, set up something where you can have it mediated, where you both can sit down to the table. And then again, you're gonna have to change how mentally look and feel about the other parent, and realize to say, okay, we're beyond that. I will respect you as the child's parent, and let's both work on our ways of how we are doing our, conducting our parenting skills day to day, week to week, whatever have you. And at the end of the day, we both want healthy children, you know. So I stay consistent and keep trying.
Yes, sir. Great, great, great content. Great input, Anthony. Appreciate it, fellas. Another question that we have for the panel. How can I co-parent when I am incarcerated? How can I co-parent when I am incarcerated?
That just goes to continuing to reach out, write letters as much as possible. Um, Try to make any available phone calls. And then to realize the amount of value your voice still has, even though you're in a different situation. Letting your child know that you still love them, letting them know that you made a mistake, but you're owning up to it, and these are the consequences of your mistake. But and just kind of trying to reassure them that if your situation changes, that you're available for them now, but you will definitely be available for them later. So always continue to reach out to your child, reach out to the mother, and if there's any resources that you have on the outside, whether or not it's through your family, try to get resources to that child. If you have to call your parents or friends to deliver money or supplies to your child's family, the mother, then by all means take that route also.
That's good. Very good.
Yeah, I think it still adds to the fact that you need to step up with the communication, and you need to respect each other. Say for a situation where if maybe you didn't respect your baby mama prior to your incarceration,
Mhm.
then it makes things worse, right? Because if you didn't respect her while you were a free man,
Mhm.
I think it would be kind of difficult. Your communication with your child is going to strain that communication with your child. So it's very, very important that while you still have things under your control,
Mhm.
you should always maintain that. You should always give that respect to your baby's mom or your son's mom, your daughter's mom, you should always give them that respect because being incarcerated means a whole lot of things. I think you're under control.
Mm.
You can do things like you could always do it. So always make sure that there is a proper or the communication line is always smooth. Yeah, why you still have time. Yeah.
Anthony, is anything did you want to add, sir?
I, I like what's being said. I would just only thing I'm adding is for the individual to stay once again stay consistent. I mean
Good.
there's one thing in like I said in writing letters like Daniel said, but stay consistent with the letters. If it's not a letter, if it's possible, send postcards. Keep that parenting um, motivation to actually want to connect because again the child the child themselves is going to look for that one day because again whether they're not getting the communication or not they're going to look for that one day and then they're going to want to hear for themselves so uh, keep the communication letters postcard even ask for visitation because not only from the communication from the letters and the postcard, ask to physically see the child. Stay consistent with it. Don't ask one day and then weeks go by. You don't try to mention anything because they're gonna think, oh well, it may have not been serious about it. But try to stay consistent with it.
Yes, sir.
And just to Anthony's point, it is asking. Don't demand because guess what? The demand part is not in your favor.
Yeah.
That's a very good point.
Right.
Awesome, gentlemen. Awesome. Well, I'm gonna give you I need you guys to take some notes right here because I'm gonna give you the 10 cardinal rules of co-parenting. Okay. So for all the participants that's in the program, I need you to write these 10 down. And I want you to share these with your intervention specialists. Okay. So these are the 10 cardinal rules of co-parenting. Number 1, do not, I repeat, do not use your child as a go-between. Okay.
Thank you.
Do not use your child as a go-between. Number 2, do not discuss your feelings about the other parent with your child. Number 3, always remember that your child needs time with both of you to grow up healthy and happy. Number 4, never argue in front of your child. Let me say that again. Never, ever argue in front of your child. Number 5, be flexible whenever possible. Number 6, think of parenting time as benefiting your child, not you or the other parent. Again, like we take the focus off of you and put it on the child.
Yeah.
Number 7, envision yourself and the other parent as a team, right? Number 8, if you are the residential parent, meaning that the child lives with you, include the other parent as much as possible. Number 9, keep your word to the child and the other parent as much as possible. And number 10, focus more on where you are going than where you have been. Focus more on where you are going than where you have been. Right? So those are those 10 things I need you to share with your intervention specialists, okay? And then we're going to wrap up. Now, co-parenting, that's an acronym. Okay, I want y'all to write that down too. Co-parent, but it's an acronym for the guys been hitting it all day. Communicate for the C. O
Yes,
is open-minded. P, patience. A, affirm. R, respect. E, enthusiastic. N is new. And T, thankful. Again, co-parent, acronym. C, communicate. O, open-minded. P, patience. A, affirm. R, respectful. E, enthusiastic. N, new. And T, thankful. I want to bring you guys in to see anything that jumps out to you want to share before we close out today. All right. I throw to you first, Anthony.
All right. I think that there's some outstanding mothers and fathers out there that are outstanding co-parents. And we're talking on this issue of, I guess, for the most, to bring the highlight of the team effort of being a co-parent. And what stands out to me the most is the idea of having a strong parenting, co-parenting unit. Um, I know of a couple of situations, parents, where the biological mother and father are not together. However, the mother has remarried, the father has remarried, and the two children in the middle of all this actually have a four-person co-parenting unit that works fantastically. I mean, these kids go to bed with smiles on their faces because they're being loved by four individuals.
Wow.
And I say that to say that if four individuals can coexist to do that, I know two people should be able to coexist and do it. Just keep in mind the factors of, again, the communication, the respect, and the willingness to actually engage on those things that are important as being parents. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, a mother's legacy or a father's legacy is going to be that of which the children connected, received, and engaged in from that co-parenting unit. So it's like an investment to your legacy. Daniel.
Well, the one that stands out to me, Terrence, I think you said new for the
Mm.
end.
Okay.
We all got to realize when our relationship ends and now we have to switch over to being co-parents, this
Come
is
on.
a new situation.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of you can't expect the other person to co-parent the way you want them to co-parent. Like, as a dad, I'm still gonna be dad. I can't be the type of dad you want me to be. I have to be the type of dad that I am. But it still aligns with our goals at the end of the day. I can't tell her how to, treat the child or how to parent because we're not in the same environment. So once we separate environments, individual household rules may change, things that you might sit here and say, well, over here, that's not going to happen. But we just have to realize we have to give each other space to be our own individual type of parent.
Great shots.
Very good. Very good. So,
I would just want to liken the whole art of co-parenting. It's like going to a restaurant to order a burger, right?
mhm,
When you go to order a burger, what happens is the bond is always it always comes in, you always have like two sides of the bond,
mhm,
right?
mhm.
So co-parenting is like going to get a burger and you have those two sides of the bond. That's what makes it. When you have those two sides present, then you know this is what you want, because you can't go to order a burger and then you get just the meat and all of that, all of what is put inside, and just get one part of the bone. So you need to have both of them together for you to have this delicious burger that you want. So it's joint effort for everybody. It's teamwork. I like we say it's business, and it takes learning. Nobody, like we have new right here on the acronym, which means it's a new thing, it's a new relationship that you guys are building. And in everything new, there must be the learning art, the art of learning. And it's in learning, like I say, it's in learning that you get to earn. If this business has to be productive, then you need to put in yourself, subject yourself to learning so that you can make something good out of this learning process.
Powerful, 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 powerful. Well, thank you, gentlemen, on this panel today, man. Y'all provided some dynamic content. Again, make sure, remember, this is week 5. So if you watch 5 weeks, guess what? You completed the parenting component, but we want you to do week 6 as well. But you can get credit because you did 5 out of the 6 sessions. So reach out to your intervention specialist and let them know, hey, I got 5 sessions. I need to get my certificate so they can gladly serve you. Also, we'll put the survey link up so you can do the engagement survey. And again, continue to share, like this broadcast if you found some content that was beneficial to you. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
All right.